Man, I love when it looks like it's gonna rain outside. But I think it's just a tease. I don't think it's actually gonna rain. At least according to the weather app. But that has failed me before. Anyway, might go for a ride and talk about some tips riding on the highway and riding in the city. Yeah, why not, right? Got nothing better to do. Let's roll. Got some good tunes playing. Nothing better than this. Exit, yeah, exit. This cooler weather is making the bike run great. Back on topic, driving in the city. I would say first and foremost, just remember that you're small and hard to see. So just act as if you are invisible. That's the best thing to do. But at the same time, try and make yourself as visible as possible. A lot of times I like to try and stay in front of the traffic. Just because I never know if somebody's going to try and pull over in front of me. But at the same time, you got to watch out for people pulling out like that. You know? So best bet, keep your eyes open, do the speed limit. You know, it helps when you're not going very fast. You have more reaction time. And that's a given anywhere. Even driving in a car, right? Make your direction known. If you're gonna turn left, make sure your signal's on, or you're giving your hand signals so people know. Same thing if you're turning right. Do your pre-checks before you get out on the road. Make sure all your lights are working. Headlight, brake light, turn signal lights. That way you know. In addition to not speeding, we always want to maintain a decent distance from the vehicle in front of us. You never know what's in front of that other vehicle. There might be something in the road, big old pothole, or you know, they could do sudden stops or swerve, get an accident, something like that. So you want to make sure you stay a decent distance behind them. That way you have time to react just in case there's some kind of an issue. Now if you're going to change lanes, you always want to make sure you look over your shoulder. Don't rely on your mirrors all the time, because somebody could be in the blind spot of that helmet or just your plain old blind spot. So always look over first. And you never know if somebody was creeping up on you, decided to pass, and you're daydreaming, listening to your music, thinking about how great it is to be riding a motorcycle, and then you just decide to go ahead and switch lanes and you turn right into that vehicle. We don't want that. So always turn your head. My thing is being as predictable as possible. I always wait a little bit once that light turns green, because you never know when somebody's running a red light or somebody's not paying attention to anything that's going on and they go through it. Hell, I've been guilty of that. Let's get in the right lane. So, turn on my signal, look over, move, turn off my signal. Good to go. Got this car peeking out right there. They see me, I'm good to go. it's better to be cautious than to be a little reckless, you know. Like you see a vehicle on the side there, you probably want to move over. You never know if somebody's in it, they're about to take off, or somebody's going to creep around that corner. You just don't know. Now, also the good thing about being on a motorcycle is you have lanes within your lane. So you got a left, middle, and right. So you can use all three of these spots for whatever you have to do in any situations that come about. Usually when I'm just cruising straight, I usually hang out in the middle. If cars coming up on me on my left, I might veer more towards the right. Same thing if one's coming up on my right, I might veer more towards the left, just in case. Of course, if you got them on both sides, then stay towards the middle. Simple stuff, right? I think anyway. There's a lot to think about when you're riding a motorcycle. You know, for one, while you're riding, you gotta feel how your bike is. You know, sometimes something might feel off. And if that's the case, you know, get off, check everything out, see what's up. Hell, maybe your tire pressure's low or something. Or maybe it's overfilled, you know. Maybe you need to adjust your suspension. Maybe your belt is loose. You know, maybe your neck bearings are bad. Something will feel off. In addition to that, you got to be looking at the road. How is this road? Is it gravelly? Does it look kind of slick in certain areas, you know? Is there some weird dips and bumps that you need to avoid, you know, because they might be messing with you? One road higher than the other because they're working on it. All these things you got to be paying attention to. And you also got to pay attention to the cars in front of you, behind you, left and right. I mean, I think all of these are the same things you got to do when you're in a car. It's just the consequences of something bad happening are worse when you're on a bike. See, I got this van I'm coming up on. I don't need to pass them or anything because I'm doing the speed limit and all, and I'm going the speed limit, so that's cool. Let's say he was going slower. One thing, if I'm gonna pass somebody, I'm gonna pass them. I'm not gonna slowly creep up on them, get into their blind spot, hang out right by the side of them where they can't see me. I'm gonna pass them, you know. I'm gonna crack that throttle a little bit. I mean, nothing crazy, but fast enough to get past them and then remain my speed. Like, well, here we go, perfect example right now. Drop it down. I'm out of that. See, didn't have to worry about me. The only thing I got to worry about is getting pulled over. Now back to that speeding thing. There's a time when you might need to go faster than the speed limit. Or of course you can always say, no, there isn't. But sometimes there is. And then of course sometimes you gotta be below it, well below it. There's situations for everything. Now I'll take a ticket over losing my life. So if I needed to speed up to get past somebody, say they were driving erratically and I wanted to get away from them. You know, usually if somebody's like, say this truck in front of me is swerving left, right, up, down, front ways and back ways, I'm not going to try and pass them. I'm actually going to slow down and get as far away as possible. I might pull off somewhere and chill until they're a good enough distance away. Because you never know what they're thinking. Either they're on the phone, swerving, looking at things, they're inebriated, so they're swerving around. Super old, don't know what they're doing anymore, so they're swerving. You never know. Or they could just be pissy and trying to mess with people while they're driving around. You know, and then when you go try and pass them, then they get all pissed off and try to hit you off your bike. You never know. So see, look at that. I could pass them, but I'm not. Let me get out of that blind spot of that car, because they look like they're creeping up on them. I'm gonna pass, you know, and I'm not going faster than that. And here we go. Let's say we're turning in here. Me, I got my signal already on. Slowing down. I'm moving out of the way. Taking in this bike lane. Since it's got one, I'm gonna take advantage of it. And I'm coming in here. I'm not gonna be doing 50 down, got people on my back, and then all of a sudden I'm gonna decide to stop and make a quick sharp turn. It's not gonna be good for anybody. So I don't do that. I love nice big empty parking lots. Let's cruise around. Whoop, scraping. All right, back on track. Just having a little bit of fun there. Say the biggest thing is keeping your head on a swivel at all times. Enjoy the ride, yeah, but you still got to pay attention everywhere you're going, including your rear view mirror. Watching fools come up on you, you know, maybe move over if you need to, speed up if you need to. Just see what's going on with them. Dun, 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 dun. Man, that might be a cool picture. Let's check it out. I think I got some good pictures. Let's just turn around here. All right, let's get on the highway. 'Cause that's always fun for everyone, right? Usually makes people the most nervous. Entering and exiting the highway. I think after we hit the highway, I will call it quits, because I got some gaming to do. Play some Dying Light the Beast. Love that game. See, this road sucks, so I kind of got to maneuver around these bumps. You don't want to take any kind of bumps head on. End up cracking a rim or something. Blowing a tire out. I don't know, bottoming out. Scraping up your oil pan. Alright, so I got a vehicle entering in from the right. I'm going to go ahead and let him go. Let's go Crosstown Expressway. Look at that. Taking this turn nice and easy. It's a pretty sharp turn. You don't know if that road could be slick. Don't want to be over here sliding, especially since I'm not at GAT like I should be. Alright, pick up our speed. Where are we going? We are going to Comanche Street and then enter the freeway from there. So when entering the freeway, you know, you got your merge lane, and that allows you to pick up speed to merge in with the traffic already. So you don't want to be slowly entering in there unless there was some kind of issue. Other than that, we speed up because we want to be at the same speed as everybody else on the highway. Here we go. Merge successfully. Get over here in this middle lane. Another thing to be cognizant about is the power of your motorcycle, or how fast you release that clutch. Because you can easily peel out if you release that clutch too fast while you're giving it a lot of gas. And if you panic, man, you're gonna drop it. So, you know, you gotta ease into it. And if you're not comfortable with your clutch, man, spend some more time in a parking lot or something until you become comfortable with it. Because there's a lot of clutch work involved in a motorcycle. I didn't point it out, but there was some debris in the road. One of the reasons why you want to stay a good distance behind the car in front of you. That happened to be on the side, but if it had been in the front of the car in front of me, and I was, say, tailgating, and say they saw it, so they hurried up and moved out of the way, I didn't, because I didn't see it, and I'm going to end up running over it. So you want to give yourself time to avoid anything on the road. And it's not hard, you know, especially if the person in front of you is doing the speed that you want to do. All you got to do is slow down, back off, give yourself a good amount of distance, and then maintain your speed afterward, and you'll be doing the speed you needed to do. There's no reason to get on somebody's ass if you're both going to be doing the same speed. So, while I'm on the freeway, I'm looking in my mirrors to see people behind me, see how they're driving. You know, whether I got to speed up or just stay where I am, let them go around, maybe something like that. Sometimes if I think a route is going to be like during a busy time, I will go another way. Like sometimes I'll take that route, and sometimes I'll take this route. That route is usually really packed because it's next to where all the stores are and stuff, and there's always accidents. So I come around this back way. But this back way is slowly starting to become the same thing because they're building more houses around here. Well, a gas station just opened up over there. There's another gas station. So it's starting to get a little bit more crowded. But it's still usually a little better. Oh, ran into some rain. If you've never ridden in rain before, it feels like as if you went through a dust storm and a bunch of little rocks just started hitting you. Anyway, so you know, I'm just cruising along. Got my speed at cool 70, just chilling. So all I can do now is, well, I'm battling the wind that's going on right now. Not bad. I got a heavy bike. You know, and when it comes up, I don't panic. I just kind of lean into that wind a little bit until it lets off, if it lets off, and I keep going. You know, looking around, especially merge lanes, I'll look in. If I need to move out of the way, I'll move out of the way. Watch for this cardboard because it's windy, but the wind's blowing to the right, so it's not going anywhere. Now I want to make sure it's clear to everybody what lane I'm going to be because of where I'm going. I don't know what I'm going to take right now. So, that's up in the air. Because these two lanes will split going to the right off of Weber, and the left one can also go straight. if doing all sorts of construction. Now, the speed limit right now is 70, and after this area here, it cuts to 55. Let's see if anybody does 55. I have yet to see somebody do 55 besides myself. But then I couldn't keep it up because I had like trucks on my ass, and oh man, it looks like it's raining over there. I guess I'm about to get wet, which I knew that was a possibility. It's all good. Alright, this guy's slowing down. Okay, well, what in the Sam hell? I got me a buddy. So once we start to get rained on, I'll put this baby in rain mode. All rain mode does, it kind of cuts the, well, not kind of, it dramatically cuts the throttle response of this motorcycle. Make sure you take your turns at the proper speed and be in the correct gear for your turn. Don't mash on the throttle until you're up straight again. Try to avoid stuff like grass in the road. See, now I'm using my furthest left lane within my lane. Now I don't want to have my handlebars over into the other person's lane. Now as I'm moving close to this car, I'm going to move over a little bit. Now don't freak out too much if you happen to ride through grass. Just don't try and, you know, maneuver at a high rate of speed. But just riding over a patch of grass ain't gonna make you fly all over the place. One thing to watch for is mud. You do not want to be riding through mud. That stuff is slick. Try and avoid any kind of mud. Really gravelly roads. Riding through gravelly roads, you know, of course you'll go slow. And as long as you're going slow, not tilting your bike over too much, you should be alright. The problem comes when you put your feet down and you have to either park your bike, walk it somewhere, something like that. You can slip on the gravel. Now when stopping, you should be paying attention to your rear view mirror to see any cars coming up. You stay in gear just in case you have to move. If somebody looks like they're coming too fast, you want to move out of the way if you can. Sometimes you won't know though, so that is why when I come up to a stop and I'm behind the car, I try to move either to the left or the right of that car. So that in case I do get hit from behind, I don't slam right into that vehicle. They'll probably knock me into the center, hopefully. Or miss me completely and just hit the car in front of me. You're much better off hitting them than hitting me. Sandwiching me in the back of there. I don't want that. Pay attention to stalled vehicles. Like this one's been sitting here for a few days. Just stuff like that. I mean, it's all simple things. But sometimes we get complacent and we need to remind ourselves. Yes, this is fun, but it is dangerous. Just pay attention to stale lights. Never know if they're going to turn yellow. Hit that red. It's alright to let off the throttle a little bit when you're coming up on stale lights, you know. Slow down a little bit, see what's up. Turn, stay in your lane. These fools, somebody might get aggravated here. Debris in the road. Pay attention to that. Pass these fools. Cleared. I can see the front license plate, signal, turn, and over. That's what you gotta do. Back to enjoying the ride, you know? I tell you what, these damn, I'm assuming the 2024 models and 2025 of these things, when they're in sport mode, and if you put the custom mode where the throttle's super responsive, these things are super twitchy. Like sometimes, I mean, now I'm kind of used to sport mode, so it's not as bad. But when I was first riding with it in sport mode, which I had to take that thing off and put it in road mode because it was just super twitchy. Well, that's my little quick tips on how to ride in town, on the highway, anywhere pretty much. I'm no teacher by any means, so my presentation is probably lacking. This was just on a whim. But anyways, enjoy the rest of your day. I'll enjoy mine, get some of my music, and probably keep riding, you know?